Let me see if I can do justice to a very complex topic, interim vote tallies. In May 2013, there was a heated battle over a shareholder proposal submitted to JP Morgan over whether the company should split its CEO and chair positions, essentially so that Jamie Dimon wouldn't hold both roles going forward. In the midst of that heated battle, Broadridge reversed course of its policy to provide early voting results to both parties. And after a tense weekend and pressure from the New York Attorney General's office, JP Morgan relented and agreed to allow Broadridge to continue to provide interim tallies to both parties. A few months later, in July, and you can see my blog on that, it's a little bit complicated, but my understanding is that Broadridge then went back to terminating that policy since brokers own the voting results and they didn't like the change. As an aside, as I blogged in January of 2014, John Chevedden, a well-known shareholder proponent, was sued over a shareholder proposal he submitted to some companies seeking to prevent companies themselves from seeing interim tallies except in limited circumstances. The latest conundrum is that Broadridge last week changed its policy so that each side in a contested solicitation, a proxy contest, would only see the interim tallies relating to its own proxy card. In a proxy contest, each side has their own card and they're actually color-coded. So let's go back and simplify this if we can. What is Broadridge's role? Broadridge has contracts with nearly every broker on the street so that it serves as an intermediary between the broker's clients, also known as beneficial owners, and the broker. This is a very complicated process, but essentially Broadridge serves as a middleman between a broker like Charles Schwab and you as an investor. When there's a shareholder meeting for a stock in which you hold, a company in which you hold stock, Broadridge will send you a proxy statement and a voting instruction form known as a VIF and ask you to return it by paper, online, or by phone, asking you to vote. So essentially, Broadridge is operating much of the mechanical machinery in a corporate election, and it's a very technology-intensive process. So number two, what is an interim tally? Well, even unknown to many of us in the industry, Broadridge provides early voting results to company representatives leading up to an annual shareholders meeting. And its policy was to also provide interim votes to anyone else making a solicitation. So example, a proxy contest, or sometimes in the case of a shareholder proposal. Now note, the contested, even the shareholder proposals, but particularly contested solicitations like a proxy contest, are important because it can result in the company's change in control. So what is Broadridge's dilemma? They want to be a neutral party, but on the one hand, they have contracts with brokers. This is a contractual arrangement, and they're acting as the middleman, collecting those brokers' voting data. These brokers are also investors who care about who gets interim tallies. You've seen CII, the Council of Institutional Investors, weigh in with a letter to the SEC about this issue. On the other hand, companies are paying for a solicitation in most cases, and they don't want the other side to see what they paid for. I'll note that in a blog, that independent tabulator Carl Hagberg says that this ruckus is not warranted because the deciding votes typically come in at the last minute.